everyone, welcome to Connected by Games.
Today we're going to be showing you how to play Settlers of Catan.
Alright, let's get started. The premise of the game is that you're going to be exploring the Isle of Catan. You're going to be placing settlements and roads to try to get to 10 victory points first.
Alright, let's go ahead and see what's inside the box here. We're going to show you how to set up the game. First thing you see, the rule book. You won't be needing that because you're watching this video.
And then you can just take out these water edge pieces here. Oh. And you're just going to connect up these little numbers here. So like right here there's a 3, here there's a 5, so that means they don't go together. So you're just looking to match up those numbers. It's going to create a hexagon, so a 6-sided figure. Hashtag math teacher problems.
Exactly, and it should look a little like this.
Next, you're going to randomly place these hexes inside the water.
Then go ahead and place these number tiles in each hex randomly. Just make sure that no red tiles are right next to each other.
And then finally, put the robber on the desert and then give each person their building cost card and their pieces. So there's going to be 4 different colors in there.
Alright, now that you got the game set up, let's go ahead and talk about the building cost card right here. So, in the game there are 5 different resources. There's brick, wood, wool, or sheep, I don't know what you call it, wheat, and ore. And so there's 5 different resources there, and with those 5 resources, you can build, this is the cost of everything right here. And so to start off, we're going to start with the road right here, and that costs you a wood and a brick. And a road just leads you to different places. Mm-hmm. They don't actually give you any victory points, but they will lead you to a different spot, which you need 2 roads in between each of your settlements.
So the next one on here is a settlement, and that's going to cost a wood, a brick, a wheat, and a sheep. So these are really important. So these get you, with those roads, you can build another settlement, and you get more material. You get more cards, yes. More production.
Yeah, exactly. You get a lot more numbers with more settlements out there. Yeah, and so those are worth 1 victory point. So you want to get those out there to get more victory points as well.
Yeah, and there are only 5 settlements though, so make sure you keep that in mind as well.
Yeah, sometimes if you have a road and you want to build that settlement and you don't have a settlement to build, you might be just out of luck.
Speaking from a random personal story here, I had all my 5 settlements placed. I had 9 points. And I was like, I had my road built for that last settlement, and I was like, I got this. And I got to my turn, I had all the material, and I went to go place my settlement, but lo and behold, I didn't have another settlement.
Yeah. Yep, that will happen for sure. Next on the list here, we got the city. And so a city is worth 2 victory points, and it costs you 3 ore and 2 wheat. Mm-hmm. And when you build a city, you're replacing a settlement. So you take a settlement off the board and placing the city right there instead. And when you build a city, this really elevates your production level because you get 2 cards every time a number is rolled instead of just 1.
Cities are amazing. Mm-hmm. They're game changers.
Exactly.
And then lastly on here we have a development card, and that's going to cost you a wheat, a sheep, and an ore. These are just like random cards. So if you have these materials and you want to get one, there's one of 5 different development cards that you'd be able to get that we're going to go over next.
So the first development card you can get is a knight. This is the most common development card you can get. It's the majority of the deck. So if you're buying a development card, you can almost like expect to draw a knight, and if you get something else, then you can be excited or disappointed, whatever. But what a knight does is you get to move the robber to block another opponent, and once you block that opponent, you get to steal one of their resources, and you collect 3 knights to get largest army, and we'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah, so the next thing you can draw is just a simple victory point. That just means that you have that victory point and you don't flip it up. Mm-hmm. So like you look at your development card and you see what it is, and you can just put it to the side. So people might think it's a knight, they could think it's one of the next ones we're going to be talking about. They don't know. So you could secretly have 9 points, but they only think you have 8. Mm-hmm. So it's a game changer type of a thing.
Exactly. So again, we didn't mention this before, but you can only play when you buy a development card, you buy it face down, and then you have to play card to like activate an effect, and that's why that victory point is so special, because you don't have to activate it, you just have it. And then so the next development card that we'll talk about here is road building, and what that does is you just get to build 2 roads, so it just extends your road, and it's nice because you can place 2 roads in 2 different places, or you can place it on one single settlement. So essentially you get to build those roads and build a settlement right at the end of it.
Yeah, super nice. The next thing that we're going to talk about is the Year of Plenty. So the Year of Plenty, you just get to take any 2 cards that you want from the bank. So if you are looking to buy a city but you don't have 2 wheat, you can just take 2 wheat and then you can play your city that turn.
There you go. And then finally, we're going to talk about Monopoly, which is one of the most evil and it's probably the most fun development card for me. Is what that does is you get to say, I want ore, or I want wheat. You get to declare one resource, and then anyone else, any of your opponents that has that resource, they have to give all of it to you. So if you're really good at the game, you're really counting or keeping track of what other players have, and then you get to collect all that power at the end.
I would say that's something I struggle with, like of just remembering what numbers have been rolled and who's played what. Aaron is very good at using this card. So when he buys development cards, I get a little scared because I'm like, oh my gosh, he probably has Monopoly. So it's a very powerful card.
For sure.
So before we place our settlements here, let's look at the numbers and what do they mean? Where should we place our settlements? So each number has dots underneath. So the ones with more dots underneath just mean it's a higher probability of those numbers being rolled. So if it only has 1 dot, it has a less likely chance of being rolled. If it has more dots, it's probably going to get rolled more often than not.
Yeah, and so when you're trying to decide where to put the placements, you can really place your settlements anywhere you want, but you kind of have to strategically place them. You can place your settlements anywhere where on any of the vertices of the hexes, and once you decide where you go, the surrounding hexes, those are the resources that you can possibly get. So for example, if you put your hex right here and you ended up 5 was rolled, you could possibly get that 5 wheat. Alright, now let's go ahead and place down our settlements. Again, you can place them anywhere on the vertices here, and red's just going to go, let's say, right here. And when you place your settlement, you get to place 1 settlement and 1 road. So red's going to go first, place the settlement in a road, and then white's going to go second here because we're going to go in a clockwise order. And white can place their settlement almost anywhere, but the rule is you cannot put your settlement in any spot next to red. So any direct spot next to red, white can't go there. So white's just going to go, let's say, right here and place a road as well.
Alright, now it is orange's turn. So we're going to be placing our settlement. Let's just say that this one is going to go right here. And now we're going to place our road. We're going to have a road going this way. And then player 4 is going to go. And let's just say we want to go right here. And we're going to place our road going this way. So now that player 4 has went, everybody has went once, we're going to do a snake order. Which just means that now it's going to go back player 4, player 3, player 2, player 1. So player 1 potentially could get the best spot on the board. And then just kind of have to figure out what they want to do last. So player 4 is going to go, and I'm going to get these resources because it's my second placement that is set. So for my second placement, let's just say, since I have brick, wheat, and ore, maybe I'm going to want some sheep and some wood. So we're going to go over here.
And so as the 4th player there, they get to collect their resources. They start off with 2 wood and 1 sheep.
Oh, and then player 3 is going to go. So let's see, they have wheat, wood, and ore. Where's another good spot on the board here? Doesn't look like there's many spots here. Where are you thinking?
Brick and wood? It's not. Oh, wait, no, they need brick and. What am I missing?
Brick and sheep.
Brick and sheep.
So, I mean, that would be ideal, but we can't go there because it's right next to the player 4. Maybe I'm going to go down here, actually.
Yeah. Yep, because you can place your settlement on any vertices. You don't have to place them in the center there. You can also go along the ocean as well.
And then I'm going to go along this way.
All right, white's turn. They have 2 wheat and a sheep, so they kind of want some ore here. So maybe they'll go right here. And then it's red's turn, and then they might go somewhere like right here. Okay, and then they build. Alright, now we're going to talk about the robber right here. And the robber starts off in the desert, but it travels to different terrains, and there's a couple ways the robber can move. If a 7 is rolled, the player who rolled a 7 gets to move the robber anywhere they want, and if red rolled a 7, they can move it like right here. And what happens when you move the robber is that spot gets blocked, and now the orange and white player does not get that resource if that number is rolled. So if a 6 is rolled, they will not get those resources. The other thing that happens is when red moves it there, they get to choose one player to steal one resource from. So they can choose either orange or white, and they can say, all right, I'm going to steal one of your resources. And then finally, if a 7 is rolled, if you have more than 7 cards, you actually have to discard half your cards, whether you rolled it or not. If a player rolls a 7 and you have more than 7 cards, you have to discard half of your hand.
So if you had 8 cards, you'd have to discard 4. If you had 9 cards, that's still going to be 4. You round down.
Exactly. And then the other way that a robber is moved is, we talked about those night cards earlier. If a night card is played, the player can move the robber wherever they want, so they can like unblock themselves or block someone else. And then they also get the stealing effect as well. They get to steal a resource from one of those players. Alright, a unique aspect of this game, and probably my favorite part of this game, is the trading. At any point in the game, if it's your turn, you can trade with the opponent. So you can give an opponent a card and they give you cards back. There's not really a limit to how much you can trade, as long as your opponents are doing it with you. And it's really cool because you get to interact with your opponents as well. So it's almost like a mutual thing, and you're not relying on just like rolling the dice and the luck of the game.
Yeah, and when you're trading too, you can say like, I will trade you 1 ore for 2 wheat type of thing, where you can ask for more than 1 too.
Yeah.
So it's kind of fun to see what people will offer you.
Exactly, and then that kind of comes in play of like, you need to know what are the scarce resources out there. So if you have it, you can try to get more out of it out from that one card. So that's a huge part of the strategy there.
Yes, for sure. And then we're going to talk about ports here. So ports are along the outside on the ocean. And also, first of all, if you have 4 of the same cards, so 4 sheep or 4 brick, you can always just trade 4 of the same
resource.
4 of the same resource
Yeah.
and to the bank, and you can just get whatever resource you want, no questions asked. If you have a settlement place on a 3-to-1 port, that just means you can trade in 3 instead of 4 to the bank. If you are on a 2-to-1 port, you only have to trade 2, but those are specific resources, so it has to be like 2 wheat, and you can get whatever you want from the bank.
Yeah, and so ports are really, really good because you can trade in. You don't have to rely on other players or certain numbers to be rolled. The downside is it is along that edge, so usually you're getting just like 1 or 2 resources for something being rolled.
And again, just, you had said this before, but with getting a port, you aren't relying on other people, and sometimes you might trade away the game on accident. You might not realize what you're trading for, so just being cognizant of what are you giving them as well.
Alright, like we said at the beginning of the video, you need 10 points to win the game. And there's a couple of ways that you can get victory points. We've talked about a couple already. Each settlement you place is worth 1 victory point. Each city you place is worth 2 victory points. You can get single victory points in the development card deck. You can also get knights, largest army if you get 3 knights, or if you get longest road, which is 5 roads.
Yeah, and so the thing with largest army and longest road, though, is that those can get taken away from you pretty quickly. So if you get 3 knights and you get largest army, and that's 2 points right at the bat. But if someone gets to 4 before you do, they get to just take that for free, and they get those 2 points, and you go down 2 points. And same thing with longest road. You need at least 5 roads, and so once you get those 5, and you're the first person, you automatically get those 2 points. But if someone else surpasses you with 6 or 7, 8, 9, then they get that card instead.
Alright, and that's how you play Settlers of Catan. We also already posted a couple of videos here that test your IQ on your initial settlement placing strategies. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and watch those videos.
Yeah, and if you want to keep supporting us and you like these videos, don't forget to like and subscribe. Well, thanks for watching, and we are Connected by Games.